Hi and welcome to the Monday Live recorded. So I'm in the Two Bridges. I'm in Dartmoor, or at least I may well be travelling down there. It's a fair journey from here, about 3.5 to 4 hours, to do an event from Monday to Wednesday. And that actually affects the rest of the week as well. So I'm going to do my teams of 4 on Thursday. The teams will be on Thursday of this week. That's the prize teams. So, and then we move on out of where we are, which of course is preemptive. So we are defending against week 2s. We have got one more after this. So this one I'm going to be looking at slightly different week 2s, week bids. Shouldn't make too much difference to the way we bid, as it were. A couple of them I had in the end of the seminar. So I'm taking it from the very end of the big seminar. And then we'll look at an example where we use the information given to us by a week 2 to help us. And that's interesting. So sometimes you might get to a difficult contract, but if you can use all the information that's there, you might be able to make it. And of course, we're still negative doubling on the Fridays, going a bit deeper as we often do. What else is going on? Well, we are promoting our overseas events, and all sorts of overseas events there are. So you've got your Portugal, which is the very first one we're going to do. It's a reboot, as it were, of the one that we were supposed to be doing with the other company. We are now the tour operator. So you can see that there's Tenerife, there's Portugal, Croatia and Mallorca. So that's quite exciting. Have a little look at them on the website, of course, BMB Holidays, and phone up the office. We deal with it now, so you can chat to us and ask us questions, or ideally just book. So lots of things to think about. Obviously, all the cruises as well. I forget which one is our cruise of the week. Oh, it's me. It's me going around the UK. Isn't that exciting? Well, I hope it is. I have to say, I do enjoy those cruises. It's, you don't often go to the extremities of your own country, so it's quite nice to go to a few places. I think we pop into I think it might be Guernsey as well on it as well. So some quite interesting ports of call. Plenty of UK events as well. Now, one thing I learned at Denham, we were doing hand evaluation, and someone came up with a great idea. Because people often say, oh, I don't like saying 12 to 14 because sometimes I have 11, sometimes I have 15. And I've always said, well, you could say 12 to 14 with hand evaluation. However, they came up with a simple word you could put in before 12 to 14, and that is worth 12 to 14. And I rather like that. It's not patronising. It's not saying I use hand evaluation. It's just saying worth 12 to 14. And I think that's great. So if I was you, I would use that. If you're going to be upgrading your 11s and downgrading your 15s, when right, so 4, 3, 3, 3 without any 10s or 9s, a 15's probably a 14. And an 11 count with King, Queen, Jack, 10 to 5 diamonds is definitely worth 12 or 13. So we're upgrading. So worth 12 to 14. Have a think about that. I think that's quite a neat idea. Okay, so we've got our normal things today. We have the 5-level decision, which is the hangover from Friday, which I'll show you in a moment. We'll then have our little seminar, the solution to the 5-level decision, and then we will look at the bidding quiz to finish off. So let's have a look at the 5-level decision. And it's sort of linked to last week's one. See if you recognise it. 1 club, 4 spades from your partner, 4 no trumps. So very similar. We were looking at the north hand last week, but I've changed a few things here. So I've changed the vulnerability. So you are non-vulnerable because you're east-west now. Well, you are. I've rotated the board, if that makes sense. So you are east-west. You are non-vulnerable against vulnerable opponents. It's gone 1 club, 4 spades from your partner, 4 no trumps, and it's your bid. So have a little think about that. We will revisit it after the little seminar, if that's okay. Just before we go to the seminar, wanted to mention the festive period and Denham as a whole. So really nice event I've just been to at Denham, I have to say. And, we do spend a lot of time there. And I asked them to try and enhance the product. And they have, I have to say, really have. And it's so I hope you will give it a go. We had some great fun at the last one, and obviously we do our little Twixmas and New Year and Christmas. We're doing sacrificing in Twixmas. That's 27th to 29th, so we'll have some fun there. We'll be in the mood for sacrificing, I think. And then we reboot the defence at the start of the year, which I have to say is devilishly difficult defence. But we're going to give it a real go at the start of the year. It'll get your mind going, I tell you what, it really will. It's quite an event, so look out for that. Okay, let's finish our seminars, as it were, on defending to week twos. Remember, preempt, but do send in your hands. I love them. We're going to do some examples next week on Monday and have a look at some of the ones you've sent in, and I'll be picking the best ones, so please do send some in. So what do I mean by other week two bids? Well, what I mean is you cannot choose your opponents. So what happens if they are playing a multi, or it's, to give it its full name, a multicoloured two diamonds? Okay, but we're also going to look at Moiderberg twos and various other ones. Actually, they have a number of different names where they open a week two with 5 of the major and at least 4 of a minor. So they end up bidding on quite a lot of hands with weak. All of these are weak bids. So multicoloured two diamonds usually either shows a weak two in a major, but either major, remember, you don't know which one it is, or it shows a variety of strong hands. Now, it doesn't have to be, but that's generally what it is. So it's a lot of choices. And generally, when you defend against it, you're assuming it's the weak varieties. Okay, it doesn't have to be, of course, but you don't need to get yourself into too much trouble. The main element here is to be patient. Okay, so let's look at what it means. So just to understand the multi, the two diamond bid, pass, the most common response to it is 2 hearts. And what that means is, partner, if you've got a weak 2 in hearts, just pass it. If you've got a weak 2 in spades, bid 2 spades. And of course, if it happens to be one of the strong options, they bid something else like 2 no trumps, 3 clubs, 3 diamonds, or whatever it is. Okay. But the key is that the responder doesn't know which major they've got. Okay. Now, sometimes the responder bids 2 spades, which is a little odd. But what they're really saying is, partner, if your suit is spades, pass. If your suit is hearts, I'm pushing you to bid 3 hearts. And the reason they would do that is because they've got heart support. So if you had, for example, 3-card heart support, you want to bid to the level of the fit. Now, it seems a bit odd, but you would bid 2 spades to say, partner, if your suit is spades, pass. If your suit is hearts, bid 3 hearts, because I'm happy, because we'd have a 9-card fit. It's a little bit strange, isn't it? Your job, when we defend against it, is not to worry about it, and do not get confused. If you've got a good hand, we can bid, but the beauty is you're going to have 2 chances to bid. So 2 diamonds, you can bid straight over, or you can pass first. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. As I say, the responder to the 2 diamond bid has the option of bidding 2 spades if he's got 3 or more hearts. Now, some players will play, certainly the way I used to play it, we used to play even more aggressively. And sometimes jump to 3 hearts if we had 3 cards in both majors, but you don't need to worry about that. So let's just see what they mean. Let's see this hand bid as a multi. We're not going to defend against it yet. We're just going to see what happens. So the West hand, they're playing the multicoloured 2 diamonds, and in fact, they often then play 2 hearts and 2 spades as weak as well, with different types of hands. Okay. Here, they'd open 2 diamonds. It's alerted. That is a multi 2 diamonds. It shows either a weak 2 in the majors or a variety of strong hands. That's what they'll say, and it may well confuse you. Try not to be confused. Just assume when you're defending against it that it's probably a weak kind of hand. Okay, so this hand would respond to hearts. Partner, pass if you've got hearts. Bid 2 spades if you've got spades. And funnily enough, if it went 2 spades, this hand might bid 3 spades then to try and make it more difficult. Okay, so that's the auction, simple as that. Okay, so let's look at this one. I've just rotated the suits in the 2 hands, haven't I? 2 diamonds, 2 hearts response. Partner, if your suit is hearts, bid 2 hearts. If your suit is spades. Now, to be honest, if I was responding with that hand, I might respond 2 spades. Now, a lot of players wouldn't do, but I might choose 2 spades. Because I would be thinking, well, if my partner's got 6 hearts, I want to play in 3 hearts anyway, because I want to bid to the level of the fit. However, here they've chosen to bid 2 hearts, and obviously the opening bidder bids 2 spades. Okay, and that ends the auction. East knows his partner's got a weak 2 in spades, and of course wouldn't want to bid over it, and they'd finish in 2 spades. Okay, 2 nines of clubs there, but just ignore those if you don't mind. Okay, all right. How about this one? 2 diamonds. This is what I was saying, where you can bid 2 spades. So on the previous one, they chose not to. Here, East is thinking, do you know, I've got 3 hearts. If partner's got 6, I want to bid to the level of the fit. So I'm going to bid 2 spades. If partner's suit is spades, he can bid them. If his suit is hearts, I don't mind that he bids 3 hearts, because we're trying to make it difficult for the opponents. Now, what's difficult when you're defending against that is that you've got spades. You've got a 9-card spade fit, haven't you? Yep. So you've got to somehow come into this auction, and we're going to see that it just a little bit of patience, and we can. And in fact, because you've got 2 chances to bid, okay, because you've got 2 chances to bid, you can usually show most of the types of hands. But remember, at this point in the auction, if you're worried, you can ask them what their bids means, but you would expect your opponents to have a 9-card heart fit. In which case, you know, and they could be weak, you would like to be competing. So as the opposition, you could easily end up making 4 spades on this hand. Okay, if one of you's got a singleton heart, north or south, you'll lose 2 club tricks and just 1 heart, and you will make the rest. Okay, so it is important to try and get in. So the main issue is try not to be confused. Now, the key is, if you play against the multi a lot, you need to try and get used to it. If only one pair plays it in your club, obviously they're not going to have the weak 2 that often, so it's not going to come up very often. Online, you'll come across it quite a lot. It's quite a popular thing. So it depends on how often you play it and the fields that you play in. If you're only going to come across it once every month or 2, don't worry. If it's coming up more regularly, it is worth investing some time, just so, because actually, if you get used to defending against it, it's to your advantage, because you get 2 chances to bid. All right. The reason multis do really well at club bridge is because people do not have the patience and they get confused. Actually, it should be easier to defend against, okay, because you've got plenty of time. They will bid again. 2 diamonds. If you're the next to bid, you have a choice of bidding, doubling, or passing, and then bidding later. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you've got a perfect takeout double, the best thing to do is just pass the 2 diamond bid, wait until you know what suit they've got, and then double for takeout. 2 diamonds, pass, 2 hearts, pass, pass, double. Partner, I've got shortage in hearts, can you bid your best suit? Does that make sense? Okay. Your overcalls, on the first round, you can play strong overcalls, so generally an opening bid. On the second round, 2 diamonds, pass, 2 hearts, pass, pass, 3 clubs. Partner, I've got a 6-card club suit, but I haven't got a great hand. I just want to compete. Can you see you've got 2? You can bid 2 diamonds, 3 clubs straight away, or 2 diamonds, pass, 2 hearts, pass, pass, 3 clubs. So it's quite neat. You've got ways of showing all sorts of hands. And generally, you can also double to show just any normal opening hand. So if you've got a weak no trump and they open 2 spades, you usually can't make a bid. Over the multi, you can. You can just say, double, I've got some points here, partner. Because you're not saying you're taking out of a particular suit. So it's quite a useful thing to say, I've got 12 to 14 points. Rather than 2 spades at week 2. If I've got a flat hand with 12 points, I can't bid. So I pass, and sometimes it will be passed out when I prefer to bid. So you've got the advantage there of being able to double on sort of just a normal opening bid that doesn't have anything spectacular. But with a normal takeout double, as I say, be patient. Mostly, though, it is similar to defending against week 2. So, let's look at some examples. Okay, so there are the 2 hands. The auction starts 2 diamonds by south. Okay, now, from West's point of view, most of the time he's expecting south to have a weak 2 in hearts. He is in no rush to bid. He's expecting the auction to go 2 diamonds, pass, 2 hearts, pass, pass. He will then be in the perfect position to make a takeout double. If he doubled now, let's say north then has the option of passing. Maybe East will think, oh, I better bid hearts, because maybe that's the most likely one. So East isn't sure. So when you've got a takeout double of one of the majors, wait. So that, well, let's see, you pass. 2 hearts. No reason for East to bid. And at this point, we now know that the opening bidder, because he's passed, has hearts. Does that make sense? Because if he had had spades, he'd have bid 2 spades, wouldn't he? So we would do exactly what we would do over week 2. We would double for takeout. And actually, on this hand, I think your partner will probably jump to 4 spades. You're not borrowing kings here. That's quite important, although you might borrow something. Okay, but clearly you can see the East hand here. For those of you who count losers, is a good 7 loser hand. And he's expecting his 4 rubbishy hearts to be opposite a singleton. So it looks like this hand is going to be rather beautiful. And depending on how many roughs you want to go for, you could make quite a few tricks, couldn't you? Okay. So the other option over 2 diamonds here, what we're going to do with this hand is double straight away. So I'm not going to be so patient on this one, because actually when I find out they've got 2 hearts or 2 spades, so let's say they finish in 2 spades, I won't know what to bid. So if it went 2 diamonds, pass, 2 spades from north or 2 hearts from north, pass, 2 spades, I haven't really got a clear bid here. But double just says, look, I've got an opening hand of some sort, partner. I haven't got a perfect takeout double, but I've got a weak no trump kind of hand. To be fair, you can also double right at the start on super strong hands as well, 19 plus. Okay, but usually it's a 12 to 14, just a flattish hand. And you don't even have to bid. It can go 2 diamonds, double, 2 spades, pass, 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 if necessarily. You're just getting your hand off your chest. North bids 2 hearts here. And East might actually bid 3 clubs here, not unreasonably, thinking, well, if partner's got an opening hand, I want to show my hand. Okay, just in case they bid 2 spades. And actually now, we don't know, they don't know. North doesn't necessarily know which suit his partner's got. Okay, so can you see, we can guess if we look at the 2 hands that South actually has a weak 2 in spades. Okay, but we've been able to compete neatly. Whereas actually, if it had been a 2 spade opening, it would go pass, pass. East might decide to reopen with 3 clubs, but he might not. On a weak 2 opening, it might go 2 spades, pass, pass, pass. Okay, whereas because we know partner's got an opening hand when he doubles the 2 diamond bid, we've had the option of bidding 3 clubs and coming into the auction, which is quite nice, competing for the hand. Both 2 spades and 3 clubs may well make. Does that make sense? If you look at the 2 hands, 2 spades, they've got the ace and king of diamonds between them, can knock out the ace of hearts, and they've got the king, queen of hearts. So I think they're likely to make 2 spades. And at the same time, it's not unreasonable to think you're going to make 3 clubs, in which case that's a 220-point swing, 110 and 110. Very nice, thank you very much. What about these other week 2 bits? Well, you will come across them. Don't worry if nobody plays them in your club. Okay, John and Becky play in my team's games on the Wednesdays, and they will often play what they call the Moiderberg 2s, but they have a number of different names in different parts of the world, because a lot of people like to invent different systems. Some people like to play 5-5, so 5 of major and 5 of minor. And if they're playing this kind of thing, they'll usually be playing the multi as well. So they'll have a bid that shows week 2s in the majors, as we saw the multi there, and they then use 2 hearts and 2 spades as more weak bids. So some of these get in the way, and that's why they bid them. But they will, if you take advantage, you can get some good scores. So bear that in mind as well. All you're going to do here is defend in exactly the same way as you use against a week 2. Okay, and that's important. Defending in exactly the same way. Pretend they've opened a week 2. Okay? However, what I want you to do is try to take advantage during the play. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, if you know that one opponent's got 5 of a major and 4 of a minor, as the play goes on, let's say you work out which minor they've got, that can be very handy indeed. Okay, and I'm going to show you an example in a moment. So, here's your hands, and South opens 2 hearts, and it's alerted as 5 hearts and at least 4 cards in one of the minors. We don't know. If you want to know how the bid system works, if North is happy playing in 2 hearts, he passes. If he If he wants to play in the minor, he bids 2 no trumps. Partner, can you bid the minor? Okay, or some of them will play 3 clubs as pass or correct and 2 no trumps is the strong response. Okay, so 3 clubs, just to explain that again, 2 no trumps can be their strong response, and 3 clubs is partner. I either want to play in clubs or diamonds. Depends on the style. Okay, so we are going to defend it against it exactly as we would against week 2. So here we go 2 hearts, double for takeout. In fact, North chooses to bid 3 hearts here. And I think we'd bid 4 spades, wouldn't we? 14 points, 4 cards in the unbid major. 4 spades seems a brilliant bid. Okay, no need to shilly-shally here. You know, you've got wonderful cards, and it wouldn't be that much of a surprise to think your partner's got exactly what he's got, the 3 aces you're missing. Okay. And so we're going to play that, and you're going to see that, but I'm just going to go 1 screen back, because I'm going to go over here, if that's all right. So let's come over here, and we're going to go to the next hand, because we've seen that one already. Okay. And I'm just going to change the configurations slightly, if that's all right. So let's just do that. So we can see those 2 hands. What we're going to do is play the hand knowing what's going on. So let's just see how the bidding went. It went 2 hearts. Now, I'm not actually telling the opponents who've gone to what the 2 hearts bid means, but 2 hearts, which was alerted as 5 of a major and at least 4 of one of the minors. It went 3 hearts from North, 4 spades from East. And then, of course, it went pass, pass, pass. Okay. And it is now South's lead. And I'm hoping that's the right place to touch that. He leads the King of Hearts. Okay, we just follow. And he doesn't really know what to switch to, so he decides to play the Jack of Hearts, which I assume means he's got King, Queen, Jack of the suit. Now, at this point, we don't know. I'm just going to change South to South. We don't know which minor South has. So if South has got long diamonds, then it's not unreasonable to think I'm going to take the club finesse. If South has long clubs, then I'm going to place South probably with the Queen more likely than the 10. So I'll be placing the suit as at least 4 in the South hand, could be 5. And perhaps my only chance is to play North for the 10 of clubs. So let's see what happens. We ruff, we cross over in trumps, and we're going to ruff a heart. We might as well ruff it high, we've got good trumps. Okay, so that's the extra 2 tricks from trumps. Now, we're not trying to just make the contract, we're trying to do as well as we could. So we're now going to play the King of Diamonds, the Ace of Diamonds, and we're going to ruff a diamond. Remember, all the trumps are gone. Okay, so we now know what is in South's hand. Now, we may or may not have played this way. We could have discovered that. Okay, anyway, but the point is we know that South has 5 hearts and 4 clubs. That's what he started with. Okay, no reason to do any kind of things. Now, you'll get to know your opponents. Okay, would South have bid this with 4 to the 10 in clubs? I suppose South might have done, but I would have thought it's more likely to play South with the Queen. So my choice would be to play the King of Clubs and then to play the Jack of Clubs. Now, South's done the right thing there. He's ducked it, because if he covers it, I'll show you what I mean. South had the Queen there. If he covers it, the 10 drops. So, in fact, the Jack wins the trick. Okay. If I just change that again, so the King of Clubs, obviously if South covers it, so I'll just change it and cover it, then of course we win and our 9 of clubs is a winner. So we were hoping that North had the doubleton 10. Okay, and we've had a little bit of help in the play there. So we've ended up making 12 tricks. We have placed South with 5-4. Now, as I say, you can actually discover that by playing King, Ace and another. You know that South has 4 and North has 2. Who has the Queen? Well, you don't really know. I think without the bid, it's just a guess. But with the bid, surely it is more likely that South would make this bid with 4 to the Queen than he would with 4 to the 10. Now, you'll play against people who do it on anything, so bear that in mind. But I would have thought that the favourite is South having the Queen. Bear in mind, if South has the Queen in 10, you can't win. Clearly, if you take the finesse, it will lose in the normal way, and when you lead the Jack, the Queen will cover and establish the 10 for them. So we're giving ourselves the best chance. We know that South has 4. We also know that South has suggested he's got 4, in which case he's intonating that he's got some strength there, you would have thought. And so we're getting help. And you will get lots of help from these bids as long as you use it to your advantage. Okay, so let's go back to that. There is the... just changing that for myself. There's the full hand, but we've already seen it on Q+, as you can see there. I'll just go through that, and let's just sum up what we talk about. And I do this each week, don't I? The thing to remember is you will not get it all right. And when things go wrong, they go wrong in a bad way. As a partnership, enjoy them. Because if you don't get -800s, you really are not bidding enough, particularly in these preemptive auctions. Many a time I'll bid 3 no trumps. The preemptor happens to have Queen Jack 10 to 7 and an ace outside. They knock out my ace. He gets in again. 3 no trumps -4 for -400. Now that's not an 800 because I'm not being doubled, but quite often if I get doubled, I'm prepared to take the risk as well. Okay, so sometimes you're going to end up gambling and getting it wrong. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm just going to remember the setup I need for, so bear with me here, for the 5-level decision against. Okay, so that's where we're going now. We're going to have a look at that 5-level decision. So let me move you. And we've obviously already had the bidding. Now, when we looked at this last week, we were the North bidder and we decided we wanted to be in 5 of a minor. So we bid 4 no trumps. Now, so let's assume they're in 5 of a minor. How do we feel about that? Well, partners bid 4 spades. We are non-vulnerable against vulnerable. How many tricks do you need to make? Do you think 5 clubs or 5 diamonds particularly, do you think it's going to make? Well, I've got no reason to think it's not going to make. I mean, it's possible that partner has 2 aces, but even so, they might have a void in spades. I mean, I suppose if partner with ace, king, queen to 7, partner might decide at this vulnerability just to blurt out 4 spades. Yeah, that's a possibility. So I guess there are chances, but I would have thought most of the time here, 5 clubs, 5 diamonds particularly is surely making. I'm tempted. I have to say I'm tempted to bid 5 spades, mainly because partner might have 8. And if he's got 8, we're only going 3 off. Okay, if he's got, well, he should have 8. And if he's got nothing at all, well, clearly they should be in a slam. Now, I can't guarantee they're going to get there, but I'm hoping that I might make 1 heart trick and we'll make 7 or 8 spade tricks. So I think that's reasonable. Or I might be able to offer a diamond, don't forget. If partner's got 3 of them and their fit is in clubs, I don't know. I think it's worthwhile gambling, so I have to say I'd be tempted. Let's have a look. Well, we've seen partner's hand. He's got 8 spades, so let's bid 5 spades and see what happens. Now, that is interesting. So they have taken the push. So we definitely don't need to double that. How do they get on in 6 diamonds? So we've made it difficult for them, haven't we? South feels he's got a double fit. Wow. So it's the same hand. The North hand is the same. And I think they're going 1 off. It looks like a good contract, doesn't it? But they can not get rid of all those hearts, can they? We lead the ace and king of spades, or ace of spades and maybe a trump, and they have to lose a heart. It looks like you can discard those hearts on the clubs, doesn't it? But you can only discard 2 of the club's hearts in the North hand, and you end up giving me a heart at the end. So suddenly we have ended up getting plus 100 on the board. Isn't that nice? That is rather nice. So 6 diamonds minus 1. And so you forget that there's an upside, a bigger upside, where you're making them guess. Now, of course, you might be pushing them into a making slam. Here is in 5 spades. Let's see what happens. If you guess in hearts, you will lose 1, 2, 3, 4 tricks. That is only 300. And 300 is clearly a much better score than minus 600, which you would get for 5 diamonds making. Now, I would say 25% of the time, 5 spades might be wrong here. So bear in mind, you're not always going to get it right. That's what I'm saying. So maybe would partner bid the same if he had 7 solid spades? He might do. Maybe they've both got a doubleton spade and they've got a heart loser. Okay. It's just about possible, I suppose. In which case 5 diamonds doesn't make, but they might still end up in 6 diamonds going 2 off. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. That was my bit of fun there, basically taking the hand we had last week and just twisting it one more turn around the clock, as it were. Okay, so we've had some fun, I hope. I hope you've not missed me too much. I hope I will be back on Wednesday, but I don't broadcast until Thursday, of course, because I don't get back usually until about 8 or 9 on a Wednesday. It's quite a long trip, and I'm tired, so I usually stop on the way, coming back from Dartmoor, that is. So we've got the bidding quiz. Let me show you that. So 1 heart on your right, and you double. I hope you're happy with that. You've got a lovely hand, haven't you? Really lovely takeout double hand, and a strong one at that. It goes pass 1 no trump from your partner. Not quite what you were expecting. So 1 heart double pass, 1 no trump pass, and it's your bid. So I don't think anybody's vulnerable. No, nobody's vulnerable, no. Okay, so you doubled on the first round, your partner bid 1 no trump, and it is your turn to bid. So good luck with that. Don't forget you can see the answer on the bidding on the website, whether you're a member or not. But you do have to log in, as it were, with your email if you're a non-member. And if you are a non-member, why? Come and join us. Have some fun. If you've never been with us before, you can get a couple of weeks free and see what we get up to. Whether you want to watch me playing and commentating, or you want to do lots of quizzes, into the prize quiz, or just look at my beautiful face lots more times. It's up to you. It's up to you. Plenty of holidays to look at as well. We've got 1 more week of preemptive. Please send in your hands. I love to have them, and I'll be choosing a few of them to be able to do a nice sort of summary, shall we say, on next Monday before we move into October. Another month, and we know what October is, don't we? Can you remember? It is Greedober, so it must be about duplicate pairs. Hope you enjoyed that. See you again soon.